If you or someone you know is suffering from the loss of a loved one, I'm going to share some information with you that may help you change your perspective. In 2013, I lost my mom to cancer, and it took me about 5 minutes to realize that I didn't want to be alive anymore if my mom wasn't around. And 13 months later, I decided to attempt to take my life. If it wasn't for Archangel Michael, I wouldn't be here. So I know a thing or two about, experiencing grief that seems impossible to heal from. What changed my perspective? How did I learn to heal from the loss of my mom? First of all, I'm not 100% healed, but I have healed a large majority of it. And one of the things that really contributed to that was just changing my perspective. When I first lost my mom, all I could focus on was the loss of my physical mom. 11 years later, I look at it as I gained a spiritual mom. I can talk to my mom whenever I want. I feel like I have more access to my mom now than I did when she was alive, simply because anywhere I go, anytime I think of her, she's hearing it. Understanding how spirit communicates with us from the other side is also another game changer. A lot of times we're just waiting for that glowing white soul to come to us. And, even though I've been fortunate enough to receive that kind of visitation, 99% of the time that my mom communicates to me, it's through something very subtle. Spirit likes to work through electronics. So maybe you're thinking about your loved one and the light starts flashing, or the volume on your radio goes up when a song comes on. You have to pay attention to how they communicate. Insects, animals that are doing something strange. For me, I remember one time I took one of my sculptures to the hospice where my mom passed away in Tawasin, and I had a sculpture that was called the Tree of Love, and I was standing near this bush that had all these large flowers on it, right? And I was just standing there, and I started talking to my mom in my head, and I said, it's crazy how close I came to almost joining you. Hey, Mom. And what I was referring to was my attempted suicide in 2014. And as soon as I said that, one of these clusters of flowers fell off on the bush and landed right on my toe. Now, you have two options there. You can say, oh, that was just a coincidence, or you can understand that this is how spirit communicates with you. And for me, that was no doubt a sign that my mom had heard me. The thing that really helped me change my perspective on the situation, besides knowing that I'm going to meet up with my loved ones one day in another reality, I will see them again. The thing that really helped me was having out-of-body experiences and just understanding what it's like to be a soul on the other side. Here in the physical realm, we experience stress and pain and traumas that we don't have to deal with on the other side. In 2015, I went to a Kundalini breathwork session where I left my body, and it felt so good I didn't want to go back, to the point where I had to have the instructor come up, start snapping in my face and counting down for me to come back. And when I did, all I could think of was, oh shit, I'm back, because it felt so amazing on the other side that I didn't want to come back. And just knowing that the next reality, the next lifetime is so much more enjoyable than this one. Here's a situation I want you to picture that may help you understand a little bit more about what it's like on the other side for your loved ones. I want you to picture your daily routine, your weekly routine. Maybe you go to work Monday to Friday, 40 hours a week. You do some meditation, some yoga, you go to the gym. You picture your routine, you go around, you communicate with people, and you have interactions. Now I want you to picture this. Imagine you do your weekly routines where let's say you go to work and you have a little chit chat with your coworkers before work starts, talk about the weekend, this and that, right? Now imagine you going on your weekly routine, and instead of every time you interact with someone, anytime you try to talk to someone or acknowledge someone or get acknowledged yourself, nobody pays attention. You show up to that work circle 15 minutes before work, everyone's chatting, you're trying to get the attention of your buddy and tell them about your weekend, and they're completely ignoring you. You try to talk to other people, nobody's acknowledging you, nobody's talking to you, nobody's hearing you, nobody even knows you're there. Imagine how frustrating that would get. It's like all of a sudden, you've been chatting with all these people and now nobody even acknowledges you. That's kind of what it's like for a soul on the other side. So when you're at home alone, crying and grieving over the loss of a loved one, understanding that they're most likely 2 or 3 feet away, watching you, sending you love, trying to tell you that they're okay and everything's okay, and you can't hear them because you're caught up in all this grief, you know, it hurts them to see you suffering. And not only that, when they're on the when our loved ones are on the other side, they're trying to, you know, they're already in a higher vibration, but they're still trying to raise their vibration. And when you have all this grief because they're linked to you, it's actually lowering their vibration, kind of holding them down in the afterlife. So you need to become aware that, you know, when you're grieving and sad, your loved ones watching you, and they're trying to cheer you on. They're trying to say, like, cheer up, I'm happy, you know, be happy for me, we're going to meet again. Stop all this nonsense. You know, the more you grieve over a loved one, the more you affect them in a negative way on the other side. So if you truly love them, be happy for them. They're not suffering. Be grateful for the time you got to experience with them in this incarnation, and just know that you'll see them once again. I hope this helped. It helped me change my perspective on losing my mom 3 months before my son was born. That's all I got. Hit the like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.